And we're back for more brutal Wolfenstein. I'm actually just following on from the original recording, so I have not looked up old Johann some more. So we don't know if he's a good guy, bad guy, or simply just a guy. So ultimately, though, as of this month, June, we're actually going to be looking at a bunch of fairly interesting books. We're going to finally be reviewing a John Ringo book. I've always wanted to review John Ringo's work, just because he does do pretty good. The big problem with John Ringo, though, is he does what a lot of writers like to do, and he does, wish fulfillment and or power fantasies. Now, power fantasies and wish fulfillment can be two different things in different instances. Power fantasies is where, you've got your super character. He's dead sexy, he fights the alien and isn't afraid of anything, Now, Master Chief isn't really a power fantasy, because he's one of those things of, he's sort of a hybrid of supposed to be you and a character. And, we don't know, he's not, created by just one writer, or if he is, we don't know who he is. Well, I say we don't know who he is, you could look him up, but it's not immediately obvious. But you've got writers like Larry Correia, and you've got writers like John Ringo, who sometimes they will create a character that is exactly just a power fantasy. It's somebody who, is good at everything, and nothing can stop him, And I think that's kind of lazy, to be perfectly honest. I don't like power fantasies, because if you're going to have a character go through a lot of bad crap, you need him to gradually get better and better. And so, there's a book I'm reading right now, or as of this recording anyway, called The Expanse. Now, this is apparently a TV show on the Sci-Fi Channel, the Sci-Fi Channel. I have no idea if it's any good or not, because I don't watch TV. So if it is good, leave a comment in the comment section and tell me if it is good, and I might check it out. Ultimately, though, this book one of Expanse is written by the same guy who wrote Dagger and Coin. I cannot remember his name. I know it's not Joe Abercrombie, because that guy he wrote a fantasy book series. The Dagger and Coin guy, the Dagger and Coin is a fantasy book series, but the Dagger and Coin guy would also go on to write The Expanse, which is a sci-fi series. Although Dagger and Coin and his sci-fi series actually read a lot alike, which is interesting. I don't really have a problem with that. And it is kind of interesting how many of the problems in the fantasy book series actually can hold true in the sci-fi book series. Now, the fantasy book series takes place on an alternate Earth, and the sci-fi book series takes place in the future of undefined time. But the Expanse book series is really good in that its characters aren't power fantasies. They aren't wish fulfillments. They're just regular guys. And that I kind of like, because it's them, overcoming massive odds. It's them learning how to fight, learning how to deal with big issues and stuff like that, and I always like that. Now, in the Super Nintendo game, just to make an aside, the dogs were actually replaced with giant rats, because it's perfectly okay to shoot people, but it's terrible if you shoot a dog, especially a horribly pixelated dog like that. Because, that'll make kids want to go destroy, pixelated dogs, because that always happens. I really don't know where people get that. Also, I love how the dog food doesn't give you hardly any health. You think that all that fucking protein would make you feel good. Alright, let's see, where was I? Yeah. The Dagger and Coin book series also featured, regular people overcoming massive odds. It's just, you can have high-level characters. And I'm using a RPG style of mindset here. You can have characters with big power levels, but make them earn that power level, And you don't have to make them super awesome and amazing. What you can do is they get the skills to be super awesome and amazing, because to me, a powerful character is somebody who has the mindset to be powerful. Not just he has, super strength, speed, and all the rest. You have to have the mindset to be able to use it. BJ Blazkowicz here, I don't want to read about him, being some sort of genetic Superman. No, don't record over that. I want him to be a character who had to earn all that, who learned all of that, who, through force of will, and also you notice the character you're playing as looks a lot like old Blasco from the Wolfenstein New Order. I really liked his outfit in New Order. It looked really good. It was a really cool looking thing, too. I don't know if anybody would actually wear that in real life, but I thought it looked awesome. Like, his outfit was, like, totally awesome, dude. It's like, I would totally buy that and wear it every day. Ah, god damn it. That's a problem. And I'm not going to cheat. Or at least I'm going to try not to cheat. See, this game does get hard, because, like, I've just been blazing through, you know, like, bullets of rain. Chocolate rain? But blazing through, like, bullets don't even hurt. When in all reality, what you gotta do is you really just have to, hide. You gotta camp the, sides of the doors, because these guys hurt. And that's one of the major differences between, this and Brutal Doom. Brutal Doom, you know, eventually you won't have enemies with projectiles, or they don't... I don't know, these guys just seem to hurt more than, ooh, that guy lost his leg. Seem to hurt more than the enemies from Brutal Doom. I don't know, maybe it's just a false positive. There we go. False positive, that doesn't make any sense. Maybe it's just a false comparison. I do not know. Alright, at least we got some chicken dinners. That makes it makes anybody feel good. Okay, so we need a gold key. We don't need to go in those silver doors. I don't really remember what's in those doors, to be perfectly honest. Or what's behind those doors, but we just need the gold key, and that's got to be somewhere. And that's pretty much all you do, is you got to hunt down the keys. And the shooting in this game is so good that it doesn't really matter if the objectives are fairly simplistic. Because ultimately, this is one of those games that it's fun to play on its own, but it's also fun to play it while you have a podcast of some description on. And there's a lot of good podcasts out there these days, ladies and gentlemen. One I like to listen to is the Oliver Harper commentaries for movies, because the commentators on there are pretty good. And they generally know what they're talking about when it comes to film and cinema, and they just are funny. They're not in your face kind of funny. They're not constantly making random jokes. They'll make a joke when necessary. It's kind of like me in many respects. I haven't reduced the humor in the videos as of late. I've just sort of I guess you could say I reduced it somewhat, but I'm trying to see what's the best way to describe that. And also, yeah, since most of these corridors look identical to one another, figuring out where to go is not the easiest of prospects. It's a lot easier now with the map option, but back when you didn't have one, that was somewhat difficult. But we just want to find the gold door. Now, how we do that, I'm not entirely sure. We need to find some health, too. Now, many of these levels are so big. Shit. I don't even know how you pronounce that. Hauptsturmführer. It's a problem. Pronouncing German is not an easy prospect. I guess if I practiced it, I'd get better. But I definitely have... I've gotten rid of a lot of the forced humor, although I never really forced the humor into the reviews, and just sort of stuck with basic snorking and just focusing on the reviews. That's actually something that is somewhat interesting in many respects. You know, whenever you start trying to shoehorn in a lot of jokes, that's when you start to have some problems. I think that was a big problem for the Nostalgia Critic in many respects. When he, in the current era, one of the big problems with the Nostalgia Critic, and I used to watch him all the time. Some of you guys may never even heard of him. At one time, Tagatua, as I call it, or that guy with the glasses, although it's not called that anymore. God damn it! Blow him up! You know, that should have hurt him a little more than that. Great, 2 chicken dinners. Like that's really gonna help. But now, the Nostalgia Critic's early work, you know, it didn't have that many jokes. There were little cutaways, and I used to think those were really funny. It was just snappy humor, and you'd get right back to actually reviewing the. God damn it! We had another random pause. That's just something that's gonna happen. I guess we just kind of got to get used to that. It hasn't done it. It does it at random intervals. Don't know what it is. I have no clue. And it does it with every program I use. Yeah, well, such is the nature of PC gaming. Wasn't a very long pause, so I guess we should be happy for that. But yeah, the Nostalgia Critic, his stuff, he has too many skits. I think that kind of all culminated in that really horrible game show that I think no fan of his ever really asked for. There's actually an interesting video up on YouTube right now that I can't remember who put it up, but basically it's a video talking about the Nostalgia Critic and his... He hasn't really fallen, but the Nostalgia Critic, both in the past and now, the problem is with the Nostalgia Critic, at least according to the video, is that he was trying to run away from himself. He didn't like being just the Nostalgia Critic. He wanted to be a quote-unquote real comedian, and the problem is, one of the reasons why he was so beloved was the fact that he wasn't a real comedian. He was one of us. He was a member of geek culture, so to speak. He was a nerd, you know, and he spoke to nerds quite well, and that was his primary fan base. With all of his, you know, skits and annoying crap like that, he's kind of lost sight of that. And we'll, of course, talk more about this in the next episode, because I'm GeneralLotz, wishing you good. Mystery Science Theater 3000, or whatever makes you happy.